Well, since X-Men 97 Season 2 was really good, why don't we do the storyline that has Apocalypse in the original Ultimate Universe? What is good, Internet? It is Spirit of Paradox here, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be doing part 1 of the very lengthy Ultimate Apocalypse storyline in the original Ultimate Universe of Earth 1610. In this video, we are going to be covering Ultimate X-Men issue 46 and 7, and if you guys are fans of the Ultimate Universe, this is the channel you want to be on. We cover the original and the new, so make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and a hype. Let's begin. The story begins in New York City, with a man standing next to an edge of a building, but then a puff of yellow smoke appears behind him, and he asks, "Who's there?" Step away from the ledge, as we find out it's Ultimate Nightcrawler. But the thing is, this causes John Paul to basically panic and falls off the edge of the building. "No!" shouts Nightcrawler. As Jean Paul falls from the building, he gets saved by Ultimate Angel. "It's alright, Jean Paul, this is your second chance," as he basically flies him back up to the roof. "Let me go, freak." "Nice, that's the thanks we get for saving your life? What are you talking about? That thing made me fall," with Nightcrawler saying, "Wait, you were not committing suicide?" "Suicide? I just came up here to think. What is this?" And Ultimate Angel would explain, "Our apologies, my name is Warren. Kurt and I are mutants, kids whose genetic makeups give us the abilities beyond." "I know what a mutant is, Tool. What do you want with me?" And Nightcrawler asks, "At yesterday's track and field invitational, you ran the mile in just under 3 minutes, yeah?" And Jean Paul would react in saying, "That's what this is about, but I've already been kicked off the team. What more do you people want? I told them I'm not on steroids, And then he realizes he's a mutant too, and he says no. "It can't be. I'm not one of you." And Angel would let him know, "Actually, you kinda are. Our professor has this machine that can detect mutants." "Great. Sophomore year I realize I'm gay, and now you're telling me I'm a mutant." And Ultimate Angel is like, you might want to start living the life for a bit before you start slinging derogatory terms like that, even if you're trying to reappropriate them or whatever." And Nightcrawler's like, "What? You're gay?" "Jean Paul, we've been sent to invite you to the Xavier Institute for Gifted Children, a school in Westchester created by and for our kind." Our kind? God, you people are worse than my mum. As soon as I came out the closet, she tried to make me enroll at Harvey Milk. And Angel's like, "I'm sorry, what now?" "It's this special high school for gay kids, where we can supposedly get an education without being harassed by idiots." And Jean Paul makes it clear, "But you know what? I'd rather get called a homo 10 times a day than surrogate myself from the rest of society." And Nightcrawler's like, "This is different, my friend. It may not be safe for you here." "And your school will be? Didn't one of your classmates just get murdered?" And he's actually referring to Ultimate Beast or Hank McCoy. The world thinks he's dead, but he's not really dead. And the thing is, Ultimate Angel and Nightcrawler want to know, "How did you know that?" And he explains, "My dad's the Canadian ambassador and plays canasta with Nick Fury. He warned me about your little cult." And Angel would explain to him, "You're wrong. When everyone turned their backs on us, the X-Men took us in." But Jean Paul doesn't want to hear any of it and just shouts, "Leave me alone," as he uses his superpower to run away. "It makes no sense. This city is dangerous. He's better off with us, no?" says Ultimate Nightcrawler. In the next page, we follow up with Ultimate Wolverine and Colossus training in the War Room. And the both of them are doing pretty well, to the point where they want a better challenge. "Not bad, Rusky. Wanna try expert level?" But Ultimate Colossus says, no, I want a real workout. I want you to cut me. Say what now? You heard me, Logan. I want you to come at me with your claws. And Ultimate Wolverine lets him know, don't be dense, kid. I'll poke through you like you're a dumb voodoo doll. These things are made of 100% adamantium. But before he could finish that sentence, Ultimate Colossus comes in and punches Wolverine in the face. This sends Ultimate Wolverine flying into a bunch of robot corpses, and he shouts, "Have you gone blood simple?" And Ultimate Colossus responds, "We have a word for men like you, Sabaka." And this pisses off Wolverine, and he goes straight in for the chest. In the next page, we catch up with Ultimate Charles Xavier and Emma Frost. Yeah, she was in Earth 1610 as well, and they are overwatching the fight between Ultimate Colossus and Wolverine. Charles, stop this. I agreed that combat lessons were a necessary evil, but this is just barbaric. My students are merely dealing with the loss of their friend Emma. After a tragedy, young people often find ways to feel better. And Emma would explain, Wolverine isn't a young person, Charles. He's a grown man, a killer, and the Rasputin boy has no idea what he's Colossus. His mutant name is Colossus. And Emma is shocked by this. Mutant name? What's wrong with you? When you were my professor, you told me that a mutant had to find ways to connect with humanity, not to distance ourselves from them. And Charles responds by saying, "Yes, well, my circulum has evolved of recent, Mrs. Frost, and so have I." And Emma calls him out here. "Charles, do me a favor and cut the Ming the Merciless crap. You and I both know you're a candidate for sainthood, so quit hiding behind this ridiculous facade of a vague menace." "You don't know me as well as you used to," says Charles. "Exactly. I know you better, and I know that this is not your way of dealing with the death of your pupil. You've started acting less mature than those testosterone drunk brutes down there, and until you're ready to grow up, I can't help you or your school. You and I need some space, and your students need a more healthy environment. I'm going back to Chicago for a few weeks, and I'm taking whichever children I want to come with me. I wish you luck finding your volunteers," says Charles. "You said you weren't going to push me away again, Charles, and I'm going to hold you to that. I will be back. All you have to do is wake up and start dreaming again." As we move along, we see that Ultimate Emma Frost is getting ready to leave and is taking a student with her, and this student would be Alex Summers, aka Ultimate Havoc, who first debuted in Ultimate X-Men issue 43. But the thing is, Scott Summers and Jean Grey are watching this situation, and as Scott is the older brother, he isn't happy about this. "Aren't you going to say goodbye, Scott?" "Why should I, Jean? Professor X and I welcomed Alex with open arms, but he'd rather run off and play teacher's pet with some substitute." "Aw, sibling rivalry really brings out the color in your cheeks," says Jean. "You wanna go for a walk somewhere?" she asks. "Why? What do you have in mind?" And when he asks that question, we actually see a glimpse of the Phoenix within Jean Grey, and this is going to be very important in the future of the Ultimate Apocalypse storyline, or if you've watched the X-Men Apocalypse movie by Fox, the ending battle is a direct homage to Ultimate X-Men. But the thing is, both Jean and Scott appear in this random place where a battle was going on. Holy, Jean, where are we? You tell me. This is your brain we're taking a psychic stroll through. Oh my god, this is Corsair. But where? Corsair. It's this dopey world I made up after my dad got me a tape of Empire Strikes Back when I was 7. I would imagine these complex military campaigns, month-long battles between monsters and space pirates. Jean, where did you get the power to, I just wanted you to see what an incredible leader you are, Scott. What an incredible leader you've always been. You couldn't have crammed any more strategies or maneuvers or whatever into your head if you tried. And I know you still feel responsible for what happened to Hank. But it wasn't your fault. But he tells her to shush, and then he kisses Jean. And we see the Phoenix Force begin to manifest around them because of her abilities. But I've always found this weird because this is supposed to be a lot more grounded in reality, so really these flames should be killing Scott, but we're just gonna ignore that. In the next page, we catch up with Ultimate Iceman and Rogue, and both of them are ice skating. This part of the story actually isn't all that important, but the reason why they're doing this is to break off a little steam after the death of Hank McCoy, aka Ultimate Beast, in this point in the timeline. And the thing is, Ultimate Kitty Pryde shows up and she's pissed off because she realized Bobby Drake has frozen the school swimming pool, and she basically runs off for the strop and then comes across Ultimate Storm's bedroom door and tries to knock on it, trying to get a response. And she doesn't get one, so Kitty uses her powers and phases through the door and says, well, there was no sock on the doorknob, so I'm just kinda... And then she notices Storm's bedroom is a complete and utter mess. She picks up a broken picture frame of Hank and Storm together, and basically Storm is like, Hank? And she realizes it's not him, and she shouts, get out. But Kitty asks her, Storm, are you okay? And with Ultimate Storm's bedroom being a complete mess, so is she. And she's not taking the death of Ultimate Hank McCoy well at all. And one could say she is going through her psycho bitch phase, or this was just another edgelord moment in the original Ultimate Universe by making Ultimate Storm pick up a giant pair of scissors, cut her hair in some skanky way, and then dress up as a street hooker, and then ask Kitty Pryde and the reader, what do you think? This is just fuckery. Like, it ain't cool, and it ain't hot. It's just fuckery. In the next page, we catch up with John Paul again, and he's walking alone at night until somebody says, evening, John Paul. I already told you freaks, leave me alone. Oh, he says, when he sees a man standing in a dark alley who just so happens to know his name, and he's covered with tattoos. And this guy's like, oh. He doesn't even think about the threats. He's like, oh. Yeah, that's how you know he's a Batman. And this mysterious dude is like, come here. And John is like, sorry, not into older dudes. Batman for tell lies. I said, come here, as this mysterious man's eyes and diamond in his head begin to glow. John Paul follows his demands, even though he's trying not to, showing that this man has the ability to control people's will. That's a boy. Now get up against that. What are you staring at? My ink? Sinister? Careful, son. That's Mr. Sinister to you, as he points a gun at John Paul and then opens fire. But I've got to say, I'm not really a fan of this design for Sinister personally. I think it's a little too grounded. I understand with Earth 1610 the original Ultimate Universe was to be a more grounded and realistic take on the Marvel heroes and villains, but I think they went a little too grounded with this. With Sinister from the main Marvel universe, he looks like a super villain that looks sinister. With this, he looks more jailhouse Sinister. Like, this is a guy who looks like he's been to prison most of his life. He's probably odd someone and killed a few inmates while they were in their sleep. That kind of Sinister. But I think it's a little too grounded for my personal tastes. As Ultimate Sinister shoots John Paul, he shouts no, but begins to realize the bullet is traveling slower and slower. What? What's going on? Be cool, John Paul. Everything's going to be okay. I swear. Who are you? What is this? My name's Jean Grey. I'm an X-Man, and you can save the sex change jokes. That's just what we call our little cliche of peacekeepers. I know 2 people from your group who already visited me, but then you've probably figured out that I'm a mutant like you. I've telepathically entered your mind so we could walk down memory lane together. And Jean Grey reveals to John Paul that she's going to see him in another millisecond or so, and he's going to be shot. I'm dead? Does this look like the sweet hereafter to you? No. Apparently, thanks to your slick reflexes, a bullet meant for your heart ended up only grazing one of your lungs. Hold on, if this is the past, where am I now? You're in a comatose state at St. Vincent's Hospital, but the doctors say you have an excellent chance of recovery. I know this sounds scary, but you're really very lucky. What's so lucky about being in a coma? Asks John Paul. And she reveals to him, last night, 4 other mutant kids in Manhattan were shot by the same weapon used on you. You were the only one who survived. I was hoping you could show me the dirtbag who did this to you guys. And John, he begins to panic and say, no, I don't want to see him again. John Paul, please, you don't want this to happen to anyone else, do you? What I want is to be awake again, as he begins to cry. That won't happen until you allow yourself to move beyond this point. His eyes, they made it hard to move. He said his name was Sinister. All I could do was stare. And Jean comes to his aid and says, we can do this together. He can't hurt you now, John Paul. Not when we look at him together. On the count of 3, okay? 1, 2, and then 3. We see a clear image of Ultimate Sinister pulling the trigger. But then, John Paul wakes up in the land of the living and asks, where? Thank you so much, John Paul. I know that wasn't easy. You're back in the real world now. This is my friend Peter. He watched over you all last night just to make sure you were safe. And John Paul asks, is he single? And Colossus activates his metal skin in shock. And if you guys didn't know, Ultimate Colossus is also gay. So I'm guessing this is basically him. This is the mutant equivalent of him getting aroused by that question. And Ultimate Jean is like, come on stud, we've got work to do. In the next page, we catch up with Ultimate Wolverine, who is eavesdropping on 2 cops who are investigating at a crime scene. And one of them says, hey Nagra, what do you call 4 dead mutants? If you say a good start, I swear to God I'll shoot you in your kneecaps. Well, someone woke up on the wrong side of the futon. Browning, some lunatic snuck into this apartment in the middle of the night and shot a 14-year-old kid point blank. Why don't you show some respect? Relax, it's called gallows humor. It's just how I deal with these things. Oh please, the last time you caught a dead girl case, you cried like a woman at the scene. That was different. That kid was, you know. But this one, did you see those things growing out of her head? I mean, what kind of life was that? So you think it was a good thing? You think someone should put her out of her misery? I'm just saying there are varying degrees of tragedy in life, and a dead mutant is sad, but it ain't exactly a Red Bull. Browning, what if I told you I was a mutant? And he tells her straight, I'd report you for drinking on duty. And she lets him know, it's true. I was born with 26 ribs instead of 24. Like 10% of the population, technically, I'm a mutant. Oh, don't give me that technicality bullcrap. How's it any different? Technically, you don't blow people up with your brain or shoot death rays out of your... Shut it. Did you hear that? Back in the bedroom. What? Nagra, what's up? And we see both of the officers enter the room, and whilst these two were arguing, Wolverine was getting the information that he needed from the crime scene, like sniffing the bullet casings and the blood to know what's really going on. In the next page, we return back to the school, and here we see Ultimate Rogue has just been shot by Cyclops, and he tells her, "You're dead, Rogue." Says who, Cyclops? That was my leg. And he lets her know, if that had been a bullet, it would have hit your femoral artery, and you just lost 5 pints in 10 seconds. Now get off the field. Angel, what's the sit rep of that dirty bomb? And he responds by saying, "It's fine, I guess. No offense, Scott, but this seems like a weird time to be having a midterm exam. The Bugle called last night's event a mutant massacre. We should be..." And before he could do anything, he begins to get barraged with a bunch of ice balls. And we find out it's Ultimate Iceman, and he says, "Fumble. Eat it, Harvey Birdman." And we see that Angel's having some difficulty here, and he shouts, "Iceman, don't! You're weighing down my wings." But luckily Iceman makes him a nice little surface to land on, and says, "Ha, too bad you forgot to..." Oh, brain fart. What do you call it when birds fly south for winter? Man, I had such a good line and I totally blew it. You have no idea, Snowjob. And we find out it's Kitty Pryde, and she's just faced her hand straight through Iceman's chest and grabbed the dirty bomb, or the American football. And she says, "Hands off the generator, or I'll get all touchy-feely again." "Weak," says Iceman. She basically returns the ball to Cyclops by saying, "Here you go, Slim. The mock terrorists mock lose again." But he lets her know, "Kitty, your phasing powers disrupt electronics. If this had been a real nuclear device, Westchester would have been a crater now." And she's like, "Oh. Listen, I know all of our minds are elsewhere, but the fact is that someone is out there killing our people means that we have to train even harder than ever. As soon as the professor gives the word, we're going to find this guy and take him down, and I want us to be ready for anything. Now, let's try it again from the top." Now, we catch up with Charles Xavier and Nick Fury, and the thing is, in the original Ultimate Universe, these two had a very strenuous relationship. They were willing to work with each other, but they weren't exactly allies either. And Charles is here to let Fury know, "I can't do this alone. Charles, we shouldn't be having this conversation. This is a matter of local authorities, not a federal defense agency. General Fury, S.H.I.E.L.D. may be our only hope finding the man who's responsible for these homicides. One of my mutants has learned that this Sinister character possesses some kind of hypnotic power, but I am unable to locate him with my Cerebro unit." Which means he's not a mutant? Perhaps. Sinister's abilities may be a product of genetic engineering, but you don't have proof. Proof? 4 mutants are dead. Yeah, all shot with the same .45. Don't get me wrong, this is definitely a hate crime and another slam dunk argument for better gun control laws, but this ain't my jurisdiction. Have you forgotten about Hank? If you make me send my other children into battle, you could be condemning them to the same fate. And Fury's like, "No one is making you do anything. I'd tell you to stay out of this altogether if you'd listen to me, which you never do. Nicholas, please, how many more funerals must there be?" Charles, understand, it's a complicated time for S.H.I.E.L.D. If it looks like we're sacrificing resources meant for national security to help a special interest group, and Charles interrupts him like, "Oh, is that what we are now?" Charles, you'll be in my thoughts. Though not literally, I hope. Fury out. And he basically just leaves Charles out in the dust to sort out this shit on his own. And yeah, it was pretty much like that between these two most of the time, and then they had to work with each other when there's something really bad going on. Now, we catch up with Ultimate Storm, and she's basically just chilling out in the rain, and we see Ultimate Nightcrawler try to speak to her, and she's not having any of it. She just tells him, "Go away, Nightcrawler," and he explains how someone told him about her new look, and he finds it interesting. "I just want to be alone, okay? The professor is having an assembly. Your attendance is requested," says Nightcrawler. "If I called down a big bolt of lightning right now, do you think you'll be able to teleport away before it hit? Because you're about 3 seconds from finding out. I'm sorry, Aurora. I know how much Beast meant to you. Is that why you're always bothering me? Because I'm the one who falls for furry freaks? Maybe you're hoping to fill Hank's shoes, huh?" And Nightcrawler's like, "Your heartbreak is no excuse for cruelty." "My what?" "A German word from our romantics. It is the depression that comes when one compares the way the world should be to the way the world is. No one feels pain like poets, yeah? You don't know what you're talking about, Kurt, in either language." "Perhaps not, but I was there the day the men at Weapon X turned Hank into something else. I remember how furious you were that they hurt him. You wanted to kill those ones responsible, but I would not let you. I did not wish to see you become a monster too. How sad Hank would be to learn it took his death to do that. Mutants continue to die at the hands of others, my friend. If you care to rejoin the fight, the X-Men will be there for you." And then we see him teleport away, but then some sunlight begins to shine through Storm's clouds. After some time, we go to the X-Men meeting with Charles Xavier. "Thank you for coming, my X-Men. In the light of recent events, I have much to discuss," and then we see Ultimate Storm join the meeting. "Welcome, Storm. Please join us." "Professor, I've already come up with a few different attack plans to locate and neutralize this serial killer. I was thinking we could, actually, Cyclops, we won't be involved in the hunt for Sinister. For the foreseeable future, none of you will be permitted to leave the Institute grounds." "What? You can't do that! Someone out there is specifically targeting young mutants, and I refuse to put any of you in his crosshairs. Professor, I told you I saw this guy. He's a psycho, but he's not a sentinel. We fried bigger fish than him." "Precisely. This is why it's better left to the police, Marvel Girl," and Wolverine lets him know. "Most of the cops don't want to find the killer, Chuck, and the few that do, won't." "You have information, Wolverine?" "No, I got Jack, which is the scary part. I just visited all the crime scenes and I didn't find a thing. No scent, no tracks, no nothing. Even the security cams I checked caught squat. I don't know what this guy is, but he ain't human. He seems like he's invisible to everything but the naked eye. Lets him live way off the grid." And Rogue asks, "Then how are we supposed to find him?" "The old-fashioned way, darling. Following leads, pounding pavement, knocking down doors. The more of us we got combing the city, the more kids we're likely to save." And Charles makes the difficult decision and says, "Very well, but this mission is strictly for the senior class. Angel, Shadowcat, Rogue, and Iceman will remain here." "Hey, why are you larping me in with the new kids? I've been holding my own with you guys since day one," says Bobby Drake. "The professor's decision is final, Bobby. The rest of you will split up into 3 groups of 2. All 5 shootings took place in Manhattan, so it makes sense that we start there." "Thank you, sir. Jean and I will search Uptown, Storm and Colossus will take Midtown, and Wolverine and Nightcrawler will handle downtown." And Charles just has to interject and lets him know, "I appreciate your recommendation, Cyclops. The teams will be comprised of you and Colossus, Marvel Girl and Nightcrawler, Storm and Wolverine." "But sir, The professor's decisions are final, nah, 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 says Bobby Drake. And then like Cyclops is like, open your mouth again and these glasses come off. Enough. If your target is found, you are to report back to me. Sinister is under no circumstances to be approached. Whatever we are dealing with is evil beyond the pale. Now, the important part of this episode, when we actually go to the headquarters of Mr. Sinister. 4. 4 in one night. A single slug left in the ventricle of each of their beating mutant hearts, just as he asked. Save your self-congratulatory muttering, Sinister. My lord, were it for not your carelessness, you would have had 5. Forgive me, my lord. You will only know my grace when you have delivered all 10 innocent souls as promised. And you shall have the final 6 soon. Very soon. This I swear, Lord Apocalypse. And we see Ultimate Sinister kneel before his master, and it lets the reader know that Ultimate Sinister is working for Ultimate Apocalypse and is trying to bring him back to the world of the living. And that is where part 1 of the Ultimate Apocalypse storyline ends. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and a hype, and share this video with your friends so you can boost me in the algorithm and show your support, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.